All of Us, Dead 2 continues the intense and emotionally charged story that captured audiences with its first chapter, expanding the world even further while deepening the stakes for every character involved. The series has always thrived on a blend of raw human drama, relentless horror, and the chaos of a world overrun by the undead, and this next installment pushes all of those elements to their limits. From the opening moments, there is a sense that nothing will be the same again. Relationships have been fractured, alliances have shifted, and the very definition of survival has changed. Instead of simply repeating what came before, the story uses what audiences already know to explore how people adapt when the rules of society have completely broken down. The environment in which the characters find themselves is more dangerous and unpredictable than ever before. No longer bound by the familiar locations from earlier scenes, they must confront an expanded world where the infected are multiplying, resources are dwindling, and trust is harder to come by. This setting emphasizes how precarious life has become and how thin the line is between life and death. Every choice feels consequential. A decision made in haste can cost someone their life, and hesitation can be just as deadly. In this landscape, the emotional weight of every moment is matched by its physical danger, creating a tension that never fully dissipates. At the heart of the story are the young survivors, whose journeys reflect not just a fight against the undead, but a struggle to retain their humanity amid unimaginable loss and trauma. They are no longer simply reacting to the horror around them. They are actively trying to shape their own destiny in a world that constantly tries to take it away. Their bonds have been forged in fire, and while some relationships have strengthened, others have been strained by betrayal, fear, and the psychological toll of unending danger. These interpersonal dynamics remain central to the narrative, anchoring the broader action and deeply human concerns. Some characters who were once defined by fear now find themselves in unexpected positions of leadership, forced to make decisions that affect not just their own survival but the welfare of others. They struggle with the morality of command, making hard choices about who to save, who to trust, and how far to go for the sake of others weighs heavily on them. These moments of internal conflict bring emotional resonance to what might otherwise be overwhelming spectacle, reminding audiences that the cost of survival is not just physical, but ethical and psychological as well. Others who were once allies have become unpredictable, shaped by experiences that have hardened them or pushed them to abandon the values they once held dear. This shift adds another layer of complexity. Survival in this world sometimes demands actions that feel contrary to one's sense of self. Characters are forced to reconcile who they were with who they must become, and for many, that reconciliation is neither quick nor easy. The tension between retaining one's humanity and doing whatever it takes to survive becomes a persistent theme, raising questions about identity, purpose, and the nature of courage. The infected themselves remain as terrifying as ever, but in this chapter they feel even more relentless. Their numbers have grown, their behavior has become more unpredictable, and they seem to adapt to the survivors' strategies in ways that defy expectation. What was once a threat that could be understood and contained has evolved into something more chaotic and overwhelming. This escalation keeps the survivors and the audience constantly on edge. As familiar rules no longer apply and no strategy feels completely safe, each encounter with the undead feels like a test of instinct, luck, and raw willpower. As the story progresses, the survivors begin to encounter other groups, each with their own approach to the apocalypse. Some cling to remnants of societal order, attempting to rebuild systems of governance and protection despite the collapse around them. Others have fully embraced the new world, adopting brutal philosophies where might makes right and compassion is seen as weakness. These differing worldviews create friction, alliances, and conflict, forcing the central characters to make difficult decisions about who to trust and how to navigate a fractured humanity that is as dangerous as the undead themselves. Amidst all this, there are moments of surprising tenderness, quiet exchanges that speak volumes about love, loss, and resilience. A shared meal, a comforting touch, a whispered promise in the darkness. These are the instances that remind everyone that even when the world has fallen apart, hope can persist in the smallest gestures. These moments are not cheap or sentimental. They are earned through hardship, and they serve to humanize a story filled with horror and violence. They are reminders that survival is not just about keeping the body alive, but about holding on to what makes life worth living. The narrative also confronts the characters with their past, memories of who they were before the outbreak, the choices they made, and the people they lost. These reflections are not just nostalgic. They shape how the characters approach the present and how they envision the future. Some see the past as a burden, something that weighs them down and reminds them of what they have lost. Others find strength in memory, using it as a source of motivation to honor those who did not survive. These contrasting responses reveal the diversity of human coping mechanisms and add emotional depth to each character's journey. As tensions rise, the stakes become impossibly high. Plans unravel, unexpected threats emerge, and the survivors find themselves pushed to the brink not just physically, but emotionally. The decisions they make in these moments define who they are in a world where the very concept of normalcy has vanished. These are not simple choices between right and wrong. They are decisions born out of desperation, fear, and a deep longing for connection in the face of overwhelming loss. Amid all the chaos, a sense of purpose begins to take shape, not as a return to the world that was, but as a reimagining of what life can mean in this new reality. The survivors realize that survival alone is not enough. They must build something worth living for, something that honors their struggles and gives meaning to their sacrifices. This realization becomes a driving force, pushing them forward even when hope feels distant throughout the journey. There are betrayals that cut deep, alliances that shift like sand, and moments where characters must confront parts of themselves that they never wanted to face. These psychological confrontations are as harrowing as the physical battles against the undead, reinforcing the idea that the apocalypse is not just an external threat, but a catalyst that accelerates internal conflict. Each battle fought in the open is mirrored by battles waged in the heart, fears to overcome, guilt to bear, and attachments to protect. As all of US Dead 2 moves toward its climax, the sense of uncertainty becomes almost unbearable. What was once survival now becomes a mission not just to stay alive, but to redefine what it means to be human in a world where humanity seems to be slipping away. Every decision, every relationship, and every sacrifice contributes to this larger quest, creating a narrative that feels immense in scope, yet deeply personal in its emotional resonance. The resolution, when it arrives, is not neat or simple. It reflects the complexity of the world the characters inhabit, messy, ambiguous, filled with loss and hope intertwined. Some threads find closure while others remain unresolved, echoing the reality that in a broken world, not all questions have answers. This ambiguity does not frustrate. Instead, it invites reflection and engagement, encouraging viewers to think about what survival truly means when the world has changed irrevocably. All of US Dead 2 stands as a story about endurance, connection, and the choices that define us when everything familiar is gone. It challenges viewers to consider what they would hold on to when stripped of comfort, security, and certainty. Through its relentless tension and emotional depth, it offers not just a continuation of a gripping story, but an exploration of resilience, mortality, and what it means to live in a world made of loss and possibility. This chapter deepens the mythology, expands the emotional stakes, and reaffirms that even in a world overrun by death, the human spirit, though battered and bruised, can still find reasons to fight.